Shadden continues on. It appears as if the ground was opening up and swallowing the mortar men. They fell so fast. A brown wave of death rolled over them and on into Charlie Company. Vietnamese intermixed with them. Then reality set in. The enemy held ground beyond the anthill. The column was cut in half. Incoming fire drew our attention back to the tree line. The firing increased rapidly. We returned fire at muzzle flashes. I heard an explosion behind me. Turning, I saw Chi-Com grenades landing. All flash and smoke, no casualties. The volume of fire became almost unendurable. Bullets peeled bark from trees. Vegetation disintegrated. I looked to Lieutenant James Lawrence for help, saw his head violently recoil. He hit the ground. Here's another description. Back to the book. Here's what the Vietnam War looked like in the afternoon of November 17th through the eyes of two of Captain Forrest's Alpha Company riflemen. PFC David A. Perp Lavender of Murfreesboro, Illinois, and Spec 4 James Young of Steelville, Missouri. Says Lavender, my platoon was bringing up the rear. We started to maneuver and work our way up the column to help those ahead. Every time we made a move, we were hit by mortars. It was something you can't describe. People were dropping like flies. The first blast killed a young soldier named Locatelli. Every time we moved, they dropped mortars on us. I know we must have had 12 or 15 wounded out of our platoon, including our platoon leader. These were my buddies I had been with in the Army for 2 years. The majority of our whole battalion had been drafted at age 21 and had been in the service for over 18 months. All of us were nearly 23 years old. They became my brothers over time. Hearing these fellows scream, hearing them killed, stuck in my heart and mind ever since. The most critical part of this fight was the beginning. It was the surprise. They had us in a U-shaped ambush, and they had us cut off with mortars. Surprise and violence of action. Surprise and violence of action. Two key elements of firefights. And here's what Young said, the other individual introduced a moment ago. There was a grassy field to my left, 25 or 30 yards, and a sniper off on my right. I couldn't see him, but I saw a tracer bullet go across my hand. I felt the wind of that bullet. The same bullet passed over the back of Smith's neck. He was lucky he had his head down. Our company commander, Captain Forrest, came running along our line. He was stopping and telling everybody where to go. He acted as though he was immune to enemy fire. I don't know how he kept from getting hit. So Captain Forrest stepping up and leading. And things do not happen without leadership. So unless he gets up and makes these things happen, they are not going to happen. That's what you do as a leader. You have to make things happen. Talk about it all the time. There's an example of it. Things do not happen unless you make them happen.